welcome back. Stasa23 here, back again with some knife therapy, and today I have for you the Real Steel Megaladon. This was an Indiana Knives exclusive. There was 200 made, and they're still available at the time that I am shooting this video. They came in at $149. All right, let's get some specs out of the way. This is a full-size knife. You have a total length of 8 3/4 of an inch. You have a blade length of 3 7/8 inch. You have a grip area from right here to the back of 4 1/8 inch. A handle thickness of 0.49 inches, and a closed width in the pocket from here to here of 1.14 inches. You have a blade stock thickness of 0.137 inches, and behind the edge thickness on my particular knife of around 14 to 16 thousandths at its thinnest portions, and sharpened at 20 degrees per side. All right, let's take a closer look at this. You have this nice long blade of Bowler M390 stainless steel, and I have to say it performed outstanding. Passed through materials like it wasn't even there. It push cut the majority of the sisal rope cutting. And was just a joy to use. I forgot how much I like this knife. I had the budget end version of this knife, and this one was just a pleasure to use. The sisal rope cutting is usually a grueling task, but not so much for this. With the full flat grind coming down to a nice and thin edge. In the back right here, it's about 14 thousandths, and then it comes up to about 16 thousandths toward the tip. You do have a nice pointy tip for piercing, opening up bags or whatever you might use piercing style cuts for. This side of the blade is sterile with a satin finish. It is kind of fingerprint magnet, but that's usually the case with satin finishes. On this side, you have the designer's name. These are numbered. Mine's 173, and the blade steel on the flipper tab, Bowler M390. There's no jimping up here, but you have a nice flat spot to put your thumb. I didn't feel like I was losing control without having any. And close it up, you do have a nice, well-executed flipper tab. I like the way it has that little flat spot right there. It has 3 jimps that give you perfect amount of grip right there, and the detent is dialed in perfection. I mean, this thing comes, just watch this. Boop! Comes rocketing out of the scales. Boom! Once you break that detent, that was like a soft flip right there, but if you load up on that flipper tab, whoo, comes out with authority. It's riding on ceramic ball bearings and a ceramic detent ball, so it is also smooth on that closing. Just 2 light shakes and it falls shut. Very nicely done. That was the case with my older 14C Megaladon as well. It was super snappy and fall shut action. That one had roller bearings, which were really nice, but these just regular ceramic ball bearings are just as smooth, at least from what I recall. Let's come to the handle scales, which is part of the Indiana Knives exclusive. They went with their brown or natural canvas micarta scales. On just the show side right here, you have a nice wide chamfer going around the scales that aid in the comfortability of the cutting. Your hardware, you have flat countersunk panhead T8 screws. Very nice right there. And T8 on the pivot, and T6 on the hardened stainless steel lock insert, which is fine because not many people remove that. T8 as well on the pocket clip. Let's look at this. I love the design on the lock cutout. I always thought that was cool looking, and it's nice and tight, like it's maybe a wire EDM or whatever. And also has a chamfer on that lock as well. That's nicely done. Your pocket clip is tip up right hand carry only. Just a bent titanium spring clip, and it functions nicely. We'll check it out in the pocket. All right, goes in and out of the pocket nicely. You have a nice generous ramp. It hugs this side of the pocket, and that flipper tab's pretty minimal. You don't really feel it going into the pocket if you do keep other stuff in this side. It's not a deep carry clip, so you do have some to grab a hold to if you like that, and it holds the knife just fine. All right, the ergonomics on the knife, and all the cutting that I did, it was really good. However, when I got to the wood shaving, all right, it was doing great until I started putting the pressure. You can see the imprint in my hand. That clip, the ramp is a little too high. Now I noticed I could kind of, whenever I'd held it in the saber grip, I could kind of make my hand go like cup it, but I still felt it. It was comfortable in the cardboard, but definitely noticed it here. It wasn't, unbearable, but did leave an impression on my hand and was just aggravating me. The ergos in all grips were good, reverse grips even good. Only other thing that's affected by that pocket clip I noticed was in this pull grip right here, because this finger lands on top of it and it's not the most comfortable. All right, the lockup on the knife is sitting at around 30%, rock solid. There's no play up or down, left or right. Very, very good lockup on it. Very good lock access because of this cutout on the show side scale, and there is a little bit of texture right there, so you're not going to slip off. Very, very nice to see that. I like whenever you can easily get to that lock bar and you're not having to jam your finger in there. It's just not that comfortable. There is no internal milling on the knife. The show side scale has a nested, as you can see, nested stainless steel liner. I hope you can see that. The weight is fine. We'll check out the weight real quick. All right, let's see. 4.2 ounces, not bad at all. It didn't bother me any in the pocket. And the knife is decently balanced. It's a little handle heavy, as you can see. I mean, actually a little blade heavy, my bad. Right here, the back of this little choil area. But it felt good in all the cutting. I didn't feel like it was leaning one side to the other, so it's not like overly exaggerated. The blade to handle ratio on this knife is pretty much 1-to-1 without being too close to where you're gonna cut your hand. Very nicely done. I hate when a knife like falls this much and you have a bunch of space because of a lanyard hole. And as you can see, there is no lanyard hole. They do have a hidden lanyard pin right there, as you can see. Nicely done. I love seeing that. You have flow-through construction, 2 barrel standoffs supporting you in the back right here. And so if you need to blow it out with some compressed air or something, or a Q-tip or something like that, you can easily clean it out without a problem. All right, let's do a size comparison, and I think the best comparison would be the Ontario Rat Model 1. And overall, like size and dimensions overall, there you go. The Megalodon is a hair longer, and of course, the Ontario Rat Model 2 is going to be dwarfed by it. So there you go on size comparison. All right, nitpicks and complaints. I didn't really have many. I had to really, think about this. And I could say maybe widen that sharpening choil a little bit, because it'll start thickening up pretty quick. You can see how they kind of went down right there, and it's starting to create a smile. So after the first sharpening, you might have a little bit of widening right there. So that would have been nice. And the the only other nitpick I would have to say is the ramp on the pocket clip is a little too high. I could probably bend this down if I pressed hard enough, and it would be just fine after that, because it wasn't like I said, it wasn't unbearable. It wasn't, cutting into my skin, but I definitely felt it, and it started to aggravate me after, prolonged pushing through the wood. So not bad at all. So overall value of the knife at $150, I think it's great. I tried to find other knives that are almost a 4-inch blade, and I didn't find much of anything, especially with a micarta scale, because micarta cost more than G10, so they're going to be a little bit more pricey. And if you like this knife, I definitely recommend it. And if you like it in this configuration, you might want to go ahead and buy one, because once those 200 are sold out, I would have to guess that these will no longer come back on Indiana Knives site, because they didn't sell that fast. Now if they sold out the first day, he might do another run. I doubt it. And I'm very glad I decided to pick one up, because I've been thoroughly enjoying it. I missed my old one. And I don't know what happened to Real Steel. I mean, yeah, Real Steel. I get them confused with Steel Wheel. Did they produce anything this year? I don't recall, but they did bring this one out. Love it. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute wonderful day, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.